All right, I'm going to play some Tour 4. We got the Acacia Reserve is in Tour 4. And I'm going to play one of my teammates, play some friendlies, opening up a pin chest, clearing out some spots here. Just playing some T7. The last 6 weeks, we played 5 tournaments in the last 6 weeks, and I've been so focused on the tournament stuff that I've dropped my divisional from expert down to pro. So I'm playing a few T7s just so that I can get myself back up to expert. It won't matter. As long as you've reached expert 2, you're always going to be considered an expert. As long as you reach masters 2, you're always going to be considered a masters. But it looks better when I've got the gold banner on there. Playing Kyle, our team admin, trying to get some. The last time I played these Acacia Reserve holes was in the 2019 Summer Major. So it's been like 9 months since I've played these holes, as I think they've been in Tour 9, and I haven't been playing any Tour 9. I've only been playing up to Tour 7. And so a lot of these holes are real familiar as far as like what to do on the par 4s and par 5s. But the par 3s, typically my MO is when a new holes come out, I don't focus too much on the par 3s. I'm really concerned about getting eagles on the par 4s and increasing my Albie shots on par 5s. And then the second time we play them, now that I got the par 4s and par 5s down, now I start really kind of focusing on the par 3s. So typically, if I'm having any problems, or sometimes you look at par 3s and there's an obvious way to go at them to try and get hole in one. But some of these holes, it can be a little bit tricky and you can end up in trouble. So I usually just, I'm all about the backspin, get on the green, get your birdie, and move on to the next hole. But I am going to give all the par 3s another look. I'm going to try them from different spots. I'm going to try some rough bumps. And there's a couple, at least one of the par 4s, I was doing a max over par hook the last time. It's going to be hole number 1 in the upcoming tournament. And I was doing a max over par hook on the left. And what I'm going to explore today is trying to do, if I catch that hole, is to do a max over par hook on the right. I want to see like what my look is out there and go at it from a different angle. We will see if we can get out on the course. That's the question. If. Just trying to get some practice time in, refamiliarize myself with the holes. I know on some of these holes there's some huge elevation adjustments. And at this time, I don't know what they are, but I know that there are some huge elevation adjustments on some of these holes. Some of the stuff, too, that's out there in the community for the elevation, it's going to depend on which way you go. So especially on some of the par 5s, depending on which way you're coming at the hole, the elevation adjustment that you're going to use is going to be different. I think it's one of the par 5s. It's either, I think it might be hole number 9. If you're playing it to the right, what kind of elevation adjustment you're going to use versus if you're playing it to the left for your second shot are going to be totally different. Because if you shoot to the right, your next shot is down into a bowl. And so it's going to carry farther into that bowl and then bounce up out of it. Whereas if you hit to the left, your shot to the green is different. So always take those elevation adjustments that come out at the beginning of the week with a grain of salt, because a lot of times they'll show, hey, on this hole you do a plus 20% elevation adjustment. If there's multiple ways to come at that hole, which way are you guys accounting for the 20% wind adjustment? Is it from the shot to the right, the shot in the middle, or the shot to the left? Because all 3 of those have a different look at the green. And so I always try and figure that stuff out for myself. If there's nothing else, for all of you that watch my channel, is like trying to learn how to play this game yourself. I see a lot of people that are like, they literally are trying to just replicate a certain shot that they see somebody do. And it's, they're not getting the results. And instead of making a change to it, they're like, no. This is what they said that you got to do and you'll make it in the hole. No. I got to stick with this shot. trying to figure out how to play the game yourself and how to do it. What is the deal here with Playdemic? What is the deal? What is going on? Come on. Come on. We're going to sit here forever. This is where we have the elevator music come on. Let's turn on some elevator music. That way maybe we'll hit the right floor. Game's froze on. The game is froze on my opponent's end, so let's get back into it and we'll try this again. So I saw some videos this week, early in the week, talking about a buddy of mine that we encountered somebody who was obviously hacking the game. And Playdemic is kind of blowing it off. It's discouraging to know that Playdemic says that the shot that their score is legitimate. That's what's discouraging about it. So let's see if we can do the max overpower hook shot from down here. This is hole number 1 in the upcoming tournament. I definitely want to do. I was doing the max overpower hook from the left, and on here I want to try it from the right. And I don't think that an extra mile has enough curl, so I'm gonna do it with an Apocalypse, an APOC 4. We'll see. It's more than likely going to end up in the rough or the sand, but the deal is you got to start somewhere. So we'll try it first and then see how it goes. I'm going to switch to a Titan, the king of balls. Now let's switch bags. Go with my APOC. I'm going to be out in this area right here. I'm going to put it all on there because I want to see like what kind of distance I get. So there's one. So where I'm at right here is fully extended on that cut of the rough. I'm right on the edge with my blue ring. Let's take the wind out. And I got just about all of that. So let's see where I'm at as far as fairway, just on the outside. So I went out too far. So I was blue ring off of that rough transition. Next time I get on this hole, I'm going to go dead center, the middle of my bullseye on that rough transition. And see what kind of forward movement I can get towards the green. Now, the thing is, if you come in too hot, the rough over here is so close that if you come in too hot, you're going to end up in the rough. Where you'd really like to end up is just right out in this front area. I think with an APOC on the left-hand side, I can probably get, the extra mile shot that I was taking out there with a Titan, I was able to get into mid short iron range. But if I can get closer than that, I think mid short iron is a really good spot to be in. If they have the same kind of wind in this tournament that they had in the last tournament, this side that Kyle hit to right here is definitely the side, because this gave you a pure tailwind into the cup. And even though I was in mid short iron, I was having to hit against a due side wind. But mid short iron is a nice place to be. Okay, there's max. There's max. There's mid. So I'm pretty close to mid. I put a little teeny bit of topspin on it just to get it to roll out towards the cup. .49. At mid, it's 4 per ring, so there's a ring and a quarter. Trying to hit it perfect. Oh, that was about as far away from perfect as you could get. It was going to be short anyways. That's not the important shot on that hole. The important shot is trying to see what's possible. The first time I can catch the fairway out there on one of those hooks, I'll be able to work trajectory from that point. So it's like doing artillery. I did that right there, and my captain looked at me and went, "Are you guys really the artillerists here? What? You guys were way off." And then I missed the putt. That's funny. That's funny, haha. Funny, haha. 4. Why is it not giving me the opportunity to replay? The game's jacked up. That's why. Let me pull out my favorite stylus. I was using my black stylus. Let me use my red stylus. Maybe I'll have some luck there. I didn't even get a putt, so I didn't even get to one on my pin chest. That's an epic fail right there. Epic. It's really funny. My the Kings of Golf and the Kings of Golf 2 ended up in the same Expert 3 clan divisional bracket. So we have a little bit of competition between the clans, and we're not a grinding clan, so it's all based on tournament results. But as I suspected, we're getting very close to where they're going to come out with the where they're finally going to have enough that they can develop the Masters 3. And so it looks like at the end of this season, we're probably going to get promoted to Masters 1. Now this hole right here, I can't remember how much topspin. The difference between when we played this hole the last time and now is the extra mile 9. So I don't have to put on all of the topspin in order to get up there. So let me look at my notes here. I don't have, trying to look at the par 5s to see which one it is. I didn't write down any numbers as far as topspin. So we'll have to kind of play this by ear. I definitely want to play this in the tournament with a power 3 ball. The goal here is not to have to use any overpower. You want to be able to be in this spot. And I want to be like right out here to the left of that sand trap. So there's 5, there's 6 topspin. I think that's about what you get with an extra mile 8. I think I was using max topspin. I'm going to take the wind out. And then just try and hit it straight forward. Hitting it perfect. Just trying to get that run out there. So I could put on probably at least a good bar of topspin. That's not where I want to get. Where I want to get is I don't want to have to come at it from this side of this rough. I want to be I want to be in front of this so that I'm engaging about where Kyle's at right there with his Nirvana and going straight at the cup. If I remember correctly from playing this the last time, if you shoot past the hole, it rolls off really fast on the backside of the screen. It's very easy to end up down there with a very long putt or off the green. And ideally, if you're rolling out like that, you'd want to be off the green on the fringe so you can just do a chip in as opposed to a really long putt. But if I remember correctly, it's really easy to roll past that cup. And it's a suck shot. So let's see where I'm at as far as red line. I'm switching clubs right there. So I'm right at my red line. So I want to be so that my red line, so I'm at max club, like right in that area right there. So I definitely need a little bit more forward distance. And another club that I have that I didn't have the last time we played this is this Grizzly. And I'm at max club. It's 2.5 rings. I'm not doing any significant elevation adjustments today. I'm about a half a ring into power. So I'm going to rub up against the nubs just a little. Hitting it perfect. A little bit to the right, so I probably should have did maybe the way the wind was blowing there, probably should have did like a 10% wind adjustment. And I know, and I've got that written down, but I don't have and that's what I'm talking about, is it's very easy if you come in there with any speed to end up rolling off. It's all downhill after that cup. So if your speed's off just a little bit, you will roll out. Drinking some coffee. And you can see right there, put all that topspin on it, it still wants to. That's how hard that hill rolls downhill after it. One ring great to the left in the hole. Definitely looked like I needed to do an elevation adjustment there. And this is what I'm saying when I was talking earlier in the video, is like trying to figure this stuff out for yourself. This is why it's so important to record your own gameplay, because you can record your own gameplay. You can play for a bit, you can play for a pin chest, and then go back and watch your gameplay, and then you can just fast forward to the areas that you want. I'm going to try, I want to see what this rough bump looks like. And definitely need more topspin if we wanted to do that rough bump. So that's like a Goliath area there if you wanted to get topspin. And I think before I was doing a backspin shot on this. Going right at it. So again, no elevation adjustment. I'm just going to try a regular adjustment just to see how it responds. I don't like making adjustments unless I have to. Hitting it perfect. And then that one, once again, looks like another elevation adjustment. I like to come at these holes and not do any stuff at all and try and hit my real goal is to try and hit 2 shots into a cup perfect and be off the same way. So that wind is pushing us off to the left, and I ended up coming in on the left. And so adjusting a little bit harder against that wind, but I don't like to make those adjustments, and a Saturn would work. That's awesome right there. That's very nice. With a 3 power ball, you can get up into that area. I know the last time we played this, I was using a 3 power ball with a Saturn so that I could get to the other side, so that I could use backspin to get to it. And so we'll have to see on some of these holes for these rough bumps which way the wind's blowing in the tournament. But I like playing with my Saturn, and if you can do a rough bump right there and get that topspin right, that's very nice, very nice. Nice shot. That's one of the things I like about the Saturn is that it's a great practice club, because you can come on holes like this and it has topspin, backspin, curl, all kinds of good stuff. And so you can really go out and practice the holes and see what you want. And then if you go, hey, this is really a great hole for a rough bump, then you can look in your club inventory and see if you've got another club that can match up as far as topspin. Or if you get on a hole and you go, wow, this is a great backspin hole, you can look in your inventory and see if you got a club that's better suited just for backspin. And this is going to be 2 backspin. This is one of my favorite holes to catch. The best way to go at it is probably there's a little island. This island right here is the best way to go at this hole. But the very first time I ever played this hole, this is the shot that I took, and I love this. I love this hole. See if we can catch that, and if that 2 backspin was enough. Yep. Let's see if I can catch it. Almost. And don't worry, I've been in that spot a bunch of times taking that shot. During tournament play, I come at it from this island. This island out here is absolutely money. Because if you can catch that island, it does take a little bit of setup in order to bleed out to get onto the green, and you can roll up here and you'll either end up with a short chip. If you can catch it right and use a little backboard there, you can get a lot of distance to the cup. But if you have too much speed, it'll blow through that backboard and you'll end up on that rough. So it's almost better to be a little cautious and end up in front with a nice chip. But it's definitely a money way to get eagle on this hole. But that max overpower hook shots, come on, yeah, that's fun. That's fun. That's money there, buddy. That's money. That's money. Let's see if I can get this in the hole from here. The way the wind's blowing from this distance, I'm going to be off on that side of the cup. Now it's just a matter of hitting it perfect. No, did not catch that perfect. And in the cup. How much luck is that? If you can't be good, be lucky. That's the motto. That should be my family motto right there. Let's see if Kyle can get in with his rapier. I was when I won the winter major, the 2020 winter major, and I was really surprised at how much better it looked with 2 major banners on there, but it looks even better with 3. It's all about bracket. I think in my clan I had the lowest score for anybody who won a tournament at a -30, and it was just coming in, getting in the right bracket. And there was 4 people above me in tiebreakers, and they came in flat. Somebody shot a 29 and there was 2 30s, and the people who shot 30 shot 28 in the weekend round, and the person who shot a 29 backed it up with another 29. Had 2 serious lag issues that cost me 2 strokes. Should have had a 32, but I felt like I got screwed over on those 2 shots because of the lag issue, and it was not on my end. My opponents were having lag issues. So I will take it. This is a 20%, possibly a 30% wind adjustment. Close. Nice shot. Let's see if I can get it in the hole. I think this is a 20 or a 30% wind adjustment. We're in this area right here. It's probably going to be max backspin. Nah, it's not quite max. You get it lined up to the hole. Nah, it's going to be max. Trying to get it lined up to the cup. So it's 0.7, so I'm going to just do a 1 ring pull. A little less than a ring. Getting it perfect? See if we can beat Kyle. Just a bit outside. Just a little teeny bit of an over pull, actually. Or over push. Loose. Getting whooped up. Kyle's putting the beat down on me. Acacia Reserve, here we go. Hole 8, par 4. This is an absolute, this hole right here, absolutely, positively makes this a minus 13 is the minimum score. We need to be able to pick this shot up. And this really all boils down to hitting it perfect through this gap. You need to hit it perfect through that gap. I like to give myself down here in the start spot. I want to be as close to the center as possible. 4-1, that's 2 rings. That puts me a ring and a half into power. It's hitting it straight forward. Trying to put just enough overpower on there that I'm not making the needle go any faster, but I definitely can tell I'm in overpower to try and pick up that that little bit of distance. And ending up here on the fringe, I'd actually, it will roll off down towards the cup, and there's a backboard here, so if you pick up a little bit of speed, it'll roll off that backboard and come back down towards the cup. But this hole right here is an absolute must eagle. I mean, it's like a par 3. You've got to get an eagle on this hole. You got to get a birdie on a par 3. You got to get an eagle on this hole. There's one other par 4 in this tournament on this course that it's a little bit more tricky because this gap between the fairway and the green, there's a rough patch, and we're going to have to get that worked out as the week goes on in order to consistently be able to get on the other side. If you're having any problems at all, you're probably better off laying up in front of the rough and taking the mid wedge shot to get in for consistency, because you're going to give yourself that look every time. But these par 4s are where we make our money in Golf Clash. I mean, par 3s, it's always nice to get a hole in one. It's always nice to be able to dial them in, but par 4s are the consistency thing, where if you can end up on par 4s getting eagles, that's, to me, especially when holes first come out and we're first playing holes that nobody's had practice on before. I see a lot of people get in trouble on these par 3s, and there's some tricky ass par 3s in this course. But if you can get consistent, I've never, typically if you get a hole in one, that should be a winning shot. That shouldn't be a shot that you were like, if I don't get a hole in one on this, if you get hole in ones on par 3s, those are the shots that win you tournaments. But what got you to the point where you had a shot at winning the tournament is nailing these par 4s and par 5s. Whew, close. So now that we've gone through one round and I got an idea of exactly how to play the par 4s and par 5s, now we can start really trying to dial in these the par 3s that are in this course and working it. This hole right here will be dependent on what kind of wind we have, on what kind of ball we need to bring out. So if we've got a headwind like we had right there, you're going to, in order to not have to do any overpower, you're going to need to bring out a 4-power ball. If we're getting tailwind or a pure side wind, you should be able to get it done with a 3-power ball. But if you've got like an extra mile 6 or a 7 where you don't got that top spin that you get when you get the extra mile 8, or if you got a lower level extra mile, bringing out a bigger power ball so you don't have to do any overpower is probably going to be the way to go. I'm just a messenger, man. Don't shoot me. Oh, I can't see the thing because they've got the freaking ball thing on there. Club stuff. 20%. That'd be 2.6. That'd be 5. That'd be 3.1. It's about 3.2. A little bit of headwind. I've over pulled just a little. Hitting it perfect. Money in the hole. Get in the hole. Money, money. Since this hole came out, I swear they've widened that rough area down there just a little bit, because when this hole first came out, it seemed like that rough area that's there that we're using right here was not quite as wide or deep or thick, or however you want to look at it. It seemed like it was maybe half that or 3/4 that. It was not as big as it is right now. They make slight tweaks to the game. The greenskeepers will go out there and change stuff on the holes, and small little changes like that sometimes you don't catch, but it does seem like it was narrower when the hole first came out, and they widened it out to open up that shot a little bit more. Good game. We'll go play one more and then go back to our dashboard so that we can clear out some chests. Always cycling chests. Always cycling chests. That's the key. You don't get club cards if you don't open up chests. And a lot of people might go, oh, you're just buying clubs. Okay. If I'm just buying clubs because I'm opening up chests, then I guess I am. I guess I am. Every one of these games has some kind of a farming aspect to it. You don't start the game off and they just give you, get out there. They don't just give you access to all the clubs and you can spend $600 or $1,000 and just get a maxed out set of clubs right off the bat. You've got to get them over time. That's why when the club card trading thing came out, I was never really interested in Playdemic doing anything with those. I was never upset about the fact that I had a bunch of extra cards, because at that point, the game had been out for almost 3 years, and the mass majority of the players that had started in the last year, you got to think about how many people have been playing for 3 years and how many free chests they'd open and how many pin chests they'd open and how many games they played and how many extra club cards those people had. I felt like it would definitely give an unfair advantage to people that have been playing the game for a long time. Not necessarily an unfair advantage, but it would definitely boost your clubs real quick. There's Max Grizzly. There's Max Hornet. 1.0 per ring. I'm just going to leave it just like that. 1.0 per ring. So there's 1 1/3. 1 1/3 rings. Trying to hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. In the hole. Albatross. Monday. I'm gonna text Kyle on my phone here. Let's clear chests after this. See if Kyle can match up here and we can go to a shootout. The way we typically play when we're playing one-on-ones is the whole goal when you're playing one-on-ones against your teammates and you're proxying for a tournament is you want to try and get to a shootout. So like if we get on the green, like missing a putt, and if somebody's behind, like missing a putt and forcing the shootout and doing the stuff. But these shots that we're taking where we're coming into the cup, we're always dead serious about them, because those are the shots that you're really practicing. And if you can sink it and get ahead, then you just got ahead. Let's go clear some chests here. See where we're at on the pin chest. Got 5. A couple T4s. Let's clear them out. I was playing those T7s to get my divisional stuff up and caught that platinum chest. Let's see what it has in it. Let me clear out that. I'll leave that platinum chest there to work overtime. Need a few more to get the pin chest. What do we got as far as time goes here? About 35 minutes, so we got about 20 minutes, maybe 2-3 more holes. See if Kyle can put the beat down on me. I'm gonna stick with my Titan. I've got lots of Titans. I'm gonna burn a few of them today. I'm out playing teammates. If I was playing one-on-one, against other people, I don't normally do it because it's like, why waste a good ball when you're playing one-on-one? I was playing in T7 this morning just to get a few chests, and I was amazed. We just got these speedway balls. That's 3/4 of a ring into power. We just got these speedway balls, and I played the same hole. We got the same hole 3 times in a row, and people had those speedway balls out there. And it's not actually a hole that you want low wind. It's a hole that you want power, and people are just burning them up. I don't know how big a packs they bought or what the deal is. I mean, they're your balls. You can do whatever the hell you want with them, but it always cracks me up when you get into tournaments and you see people using Marlins on a hole that they should be using a Titan or a bigger power ball, and you think to yourself, how many special balls did you guys waste playing one-on-one, and now you don't have what you need for the tournament? I don't like to think of it as hoarding because I'm going to use up what I have, but I'm going to try and use it wisely. I try and save that stuff for the appropriate moment. That was nice. Nice shot. A lot of distance. He's in a much better spot than me at 365. Where are we at? Seems like I didn't get that far. Yeah, I'm way the hell short. I need to be able to get over to this fairway so I can try and get on this pad right in front of the green. And I'm just not going to be able to swing it from here. So I will lay it up. It's about 2 per ring. I think at this level it might be a little less than 2. So I'm going to do just a little over a ring. Try and hit it perfect. Just lay it up out there in front of that sand trap. In tournament play, you definitely want to get so that you can engage this fairway on your second shot so that you can try and get on that pad. If you're on that pad right across the sand trap from the green, if you're on this pad, you have a very short little hop wedge shot. And so like Kyle's able to get over to that fairway from where he's at. Now he's got a 2-4 headwind, so it's going to be tight. I'd go for it. When this hole has been completely reconfigured, there is that fairway over there that Kyle's hitting to is the same, and the green is the same, and that little pad in front of the green is the same, but the rest of the course is completely different than when this hole originally came out. And it used to be when this hole first came out, this was the spot that you wanted to be in. This was the best that you could possibly do, and on your second shot, and it was arguably the hardest par 5 in the game, and they reconfigured it to this configuration, stating that now it's a much easier hole to get an eagle on. And I would still argue that it's probably one of the toughest holes in the game. I'm not sure where I'm at in my club, but I'm going to do a max wind adjustment, which is probably too much. Hitting it perfect. In the hole. Kyle's going, damn it. Damn it, Ott. Sometimes you're hot, and sometimes you're not. That's a tough hole. It's a tough hole to get an eagle out from distance. But this used to be our best. This was our eagle shot. This was the best, pretty much the best that we could achieve for eagle. This was our second shot. I actually, when I got a Spitfire, I changed how I played in this hole, and I increased my odds of because it used to be a hard hole just to get a birdie. I mean, it was basically a birdie hole with an eagle opportunity, and it was super easy to end up with a par here. And I'd take my Spitfire, and I would take my driver, and I would pound that sucker out into the sand, because the angle that you were coming at it from the sand was better than if you were in the fairway, and you had a much better chance of ending up where Kyle was out on his second shot from the sand if you had a Spitfire. And a Spitfire is the only club that would get you out there. That was back in the days when Golf Clash's original forum was out. And I remember posting that shot and saying, like, this is another way to go with this hole. And people were like, are you an idiot for hitting out in the sand? I'm like, look at the angle. So a bunch of people tried it out, and they were like, well, yeah, you're right. If you got a Spitfire, that's not actually that bad. I will never shoot this. In one-on-one play, going over here to the right, especially if you're playing from the second tees, and you're not bringing out a bigger ball, it's viable coming out over into this area. But really the shot here is to go straight forward. Trying to get out there as far as you can. I was bringing, the last time this was in a tournament, I was bringing a Guardian, because it gave me two options. Because depending on where you land out here, your shot to the green, I was doing a rough bump. And if I was in the wrong spot, like Kyle might be in the wrong spot and you could go right at it. So if you had a Guardian, you could do it either way, either or. Let me bring my extra mile. Let's see what we got here. So it's 4.9. There's 4.2. That leaves me 7. So it's about a ring, about 2 1/3 rings. I'm going to push that forward moving wind back in. Hit it 1.5 rings great to the left. And I'm probably in the same spot he's in, and I may have over. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what the angle is coming to the green. Sometimes on these, if you're doing certain shots, like if you're doing the rough bump here and you want a really clean rough bump at it, you can actually overshoot the best angle that you have. Because like if you're coming in at it from this direction where you've got this position in that rough, you'd actually, if you were over here, you actually may want to undershoot your drive so that you can come at it better from this angle. And so in the tournament, we'll have to see which way the wind's blowing to see which angle on this rough bump is actually the best position for us. Because sometimes you want to hit it farther forward so you can get a little different angle, and sometimes you want to, like, you see people, they're actually over what you would consider overshooting the shot. That's very nice. Very nice. Nice shot. Okay, where am I at? I'm in Grizzly. Now I'm in minimum sniper, which is I'm going to say 1.5 per ring. I'm going to be 2 rings off of that. And it takes very little. It wants to roll out just a little. So it's 1.5 per ring. There's 3. That leaves me 9. That's 2/3. I think we might actually need to take some wind off on this. It looks like that's seriously uphill. Like we might need to take off 5 or 10%. And I hit it great to the right. Great to the right. And so the way the wind was blowing, I almost made that on a great to the right. So I'll have to go back and look at that. Maybe this is what is not right in this game. is that if it's downhill, we need to add on because it's traveling farther going down into the hole. And so we need to add on wind. We need to do a plus elevation adjustment. So we'd add on 10%. When it's uphill, we should have to take wind off. But based off of the direction that was at, I hit it great to the right. I actually over pulled it and it's uphill. So is that right? I over pulled it. So yeah, we would take wind off on that one. So we may need to actually take some wind off on that. If we're going to do that rough bump, we may actually need to take some wind off. Okay, so there's max sniper. There's min, there's mid. So I'm eking towards mid. So it's maybe 1.1 per ring. And I can't quite get down on it. So I'm going to do a 10%. So that's going to be 3. There's 2. That leaves me 8. It's about a ring and 3/4, somewhere in that neighborhood. Ah, tried to snap it off because I was running out of time. So when this was in the last tournament, I went straight at it with backspin because I wasn't willing to dink around. But how I shot the par threes last time, if you guys watch my playlist for this tournament, all the shots that I did on the par threes were backspin shots. And I did that because it was the first time we played these holes. But now that we've played them, I definitely want to re-examine the par threes, and I'm gonna work different shots. I'm gonna take a different shot on every one of these par threes than what I took in the last tournament until we get to the tournament and we see what kind of wins we're gonna get. I want to explore different shots at it. And sometimes you come in and like that right there. I think that rough bump is money. It could be a very, very good spot for us. But when we get into the tournament and see what kind of what wind direction we're getting in the tournament, it could be they could take that shot out of play because the wind is blowing such that you'd have to adjust over the sand. And I'm not a big fan of having to adjust over sand. It depends on the sand, I will say that. Look at all the sand here. Whenever you're looking at sand and you see these big shadows, that means that particular lip. So like when you look at this lip of the sand, it's big shadows, and you look over here and there's no shadow at all. So the shadow, so like the draw when you're pulling on the sand over here is going to be nice and smooth where the sand just kind of flows up to the rough. But over on this side, the terrain is such that it drops into the sand trap. And so whenever I'm pulling over sand, you have to take that stuff into account. If it's a big drop, I'm usually not a fan of that. I think we can get this hole in and then we'll be done. I'll have to start up another one. I'm curious on this hole. I'll bring my extra mile. Let's see what kind of distance I have. I have to bring out at least a power. I'm gonna burn a berserker here. So trying to get out into that area. I want to give myself as much room for a grate to the left or the right as possible. 3-4. It's about a ring and a half. Puts me about 3/4 of a ring and a power. Hit it perfect. See with the difference with the extra mile 9 versus an extra mile 8 as far as topspin. See if that's how that topspin plays out as far as running out there. And it drops off hard right here. It'll end up in this. I can't believe that didn't end up in the sand. The deal is that from out here, it's a super easy recovery. The thing is that there's a crest here, And if you hit a little too much to the right, you'll roll off onto the rough over here. If you hit a little bit too much to the left, you can roll off really quick. But on the right-hand side, it doesn't roll off as fast. So maybe trying to come at that so that I've got a little bit more to the right, a little bit more room for error. It's tough coming at the green, having to bounce over those spots. That was his second shot. I'm going to lay it up right here because this is where we really want to be. This is where we really want to end up, is right here. And so, like, seeing what this shot looks like from out here, this is the ideal spot and what club we could bring at it. I think in the last tournament I was bringing a Saturn so that I could start off in front of the sand trap that's here by the green, but I could start up way up by the green. Cal's going to be nice to me and shoot a dunk. Get in the hole. Get in the hole. All right, let's see what we got from here. So there's Grizzly. Where's Max Grizzly? There's Max. There's minimum. So I'm right about mid Grizzly, which is 1.5 per ring. I really like to be back here and kind of run it up. Wow. It's going to be difficult to adjust for that. And we are way in the hell down into the hole. So that's 3. That'd be 4, 5. That's 3, 4, 5. I'm going to do that. Let's see if I can get it off in time. Perfect. I forgot how to count. That should have just been 3 rings. That was with a 50% wind adjustment. Now the cool thing there is that I added on 1.5. So I counted at 3. I made a 50% wind adjustment, which is 4, 5. If I was at mid club, and I was eking more towards minimum, being way back there, so it'd be 1.75 per ring, probably towards mid. It should have just been a 3 ring pull, and I think I did 3.5. I'll have to work on the approach shot to that hole. I know the last time I came here, I was using a Saturn because I was having to put on so much backspin in order to get in front of that sand trap. I wanted to be as far up. I didn't want to be so far down in the hole. I actually wanted to start off as close to the green as I possibly could. It might be, if you've got a Grim Reaper in your bag where you've got 100% backspin, it might actually be a Grim Reaper hole where you can start up on the green and you won't have such a big elevation drop. That might not be a bad hole to bring a Grim Reaper on if your Grim Reaper has more backspin than your Saturn. The deal is that the Grim Reaper is a commitment, because if you end up a little short or you end up in a wrong spot, the Grim Reaper is basically a one-trick pony with the backspin, whereas your Saturn may not have quite as much backspin, but if you're not in the spot where the backspin is the key, you've got topspin and you've got curl and you've got a lot of other tools that you can bring to the table. And the Grim Reaper is only a little bit more accurate. I have enough for this? We do. We have just enough for me to beat him on this hole. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, shit, buddy. Towards min. 1.5. Guide that sucker to the hole. So it's 20%, 6, 7, let's say. That'd be 4 miles per hour. Eking towards mid club. There's 3, there's 4. So about 2 3/4 or 2 2/3 rings. Getting it perfect. And you know what the problem was I did there is I did an elevation, I did a mid club adjustment, and I know better on this hole. You always do. I always do just a max ring adjustment, even though I'm not in max club. That was my error. All right. That was my pin. Was that my pin chest? Did I get my pin chest? I did. Let's see if we can get it open here. Getting the pin chest done. Let's see if we got anything good. We got 12, 22, 22 commons. All right. There you go. Some of the Acacia reserve holes for the upcoming Safari Sunrise tournament. Thanks for watching.